Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time for another session of the Tomii Healing and Wellness Show. The one show, maybe the only show, that shows you some alternative paths to healing and wellness in your life. And today, we're going to explore some of those alternative paths with two people that know a great deal about them. Let's bring our guests in and start the conversation. First, we're going to start with the youngest guy in the room here. And make sure I get the name right. Is it Lee Piazza?
Yes.
Okay. Did I come close to it? Let's get you a little closer to the mic there here. Lee Piazza, and you are a certified massage therapist. Is that the correct terminology here?
That is correct.
All right. And, of course, we have back with us here the gentleman behind the whole Tomii Healing system, Dr. Leiter Chen. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon.
All right, let's get you a little closer too. Move that mic a little closer to you there.
Okay.
All right, even closer. Yeah, you just get right up to it. We'll make you DJs here. There you go. Or slide in. Just slide in your chair closer there.
Okay.
All right. All right. So now that we got it all tuned in there, let's talk about massage. For many years, see, he's laughing already. You say to your friends, hey, I'm going to get a massage. You're like, yeah, right, or something. You know, this is like some sexy girl in a bikini or something here, right? I felt very uncomfortable with the whole idea of massage for years. My life, I grew up in the Midwest. Men don't get massages. Maybe ladies do. Yeah, health. Now you go to a day spa. Of course, you get a massage. You go to a fancy hotel. You get a massage. But guys, I don't want guys rubbing my body and doing all this stuff here. Yet here you are, two guys, pretty cool guys, pretty regular guys, massaging people. Let's start with Lee here. What brought you into this field? You could have done a million things. Why are you a massage therapist?
Yeah, so I hold a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from Cal State Fullerton.
All right, let's explain what kinesiology, I can't even say it, what that is.
Yeah, so at least as far as we teach it in the States, the kind of blanket definition would be the study of human movement.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and
for athletes and ordinary people and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's basically, for most people, it's like a pre-master's or doctorate type of like a degree. And so there's pre-med, there's a lot of physical therapy and occupational therapy.
And trainers, I'll bet, too, like sports trainers
absolutely,
and stuff, right?
Absolutely. So I was going to become an occupational therapist. That's what I decided I wanted to become. And,
okay.
And kinesiology was the best route for me to go do that.
Okay.
And so the whole time I was at university, I was also working in a PTOT clinic, and I gained like thousands of hours. And
it's a physical therapy office, right?
Yeah, we did both in there. So we did physical therapy and occupational therapy, except the occupational therapy setting was a hand therapy setting. That's there's a lot. The most common is like either with pediatrics or gerontology.
Okay. Or even but carpal tunnel and other things, people typing and stuff their hands, they get hand injuries at work and stuff here. So if you get an injury at work, and I've been, fortunately, only a couple times, but I've seen people or known people, you go to your doctor and then they prescribe physical therapy to help get your leg moving again, get your back functioning again, get to something there. You've had a knee operation, you had a hip operation, you broke something, you did something. They want to get you moving again here. And usually do it with like warm water or heat, or sometimes they just force you to get up and get going, and it hurts like after a hip operation, a hip replacement. So there's that. And then, of course, occupational therapy. People are getting hurt at work all the time. So the first thing is, can they get them back to work, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So all of that is a way to get the body moving again. That's what you've focused on. Well, why massage?
Yeah, so what had happened was I applied, I graduated in 2019 from university, and I started my application process, and so I got into a couple of schools in 2020, but as we know, the pandemic had started.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what grad school was going to entail, and I had some, let's just say some aversions and personal differences, and so I decided not to go to graduate school. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I have a couple of criteria that I'm at least looking for in like an interim stepping stone, and
right.
What would check those off? And so massage checked those off, and that was can I start working without assuming a bunch of debt?
Right.
Can I apply my already previous knowledge base? And then the last thing, and this was honestly kind of the most important to me, is I already, for the past couple of years in my free time, I had been learning a little bit about acupuncture, chiropractic, and like at least what we might say is like traditional osteopathy.
Right.
And so I was like, how can I work with these people? And this way I can get hands-on experience and pick their brain. And then if I decide to return to higher education again, maybe it's not going to be for occupational therapy.
And no joke intended, but hands-on experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, literally. Yeah. And so, and all of those do involve what we might say is like physical manipulation, or at the
Now,
very least touching.
I don't want to offend you, but
Yeah.
you're a guy, a good-looking guy, big guy. When you say to your parents, to your friends, "Hey, I'm going to do massage," do they snicker and say something? And I think of the Sopranos episode. I don't know if you were a Sopranos fan. We've got an Italian name here.
Yeah.
And Tony Soprano's cousin comes back from prison, and he learns to be a massage therapist. And everybody's snickering. He's like, "No, this is really legitimate stuff here, buddy."
No, it is. It is. Yeah. Tony B. No, I coincidentally I just saw that this weekend. Like, I swear.
And I thought that's perfect because Italian family, like, what? My son's going to be a massage therapist now after all this.
Yeah. So it wasn't. They didn't necessarily snicker because of that. Believe it or not, a couple years prior to me making that decision, my parents already bought me a massage table because I was like, look, I want to apply some of the stuff I'm learning. And so my mom was just like, oh, here's your Christmas gift. And it was a nice massage table.
Well,
so
there you go.
So they were supportive in that regard. I think they were kind of disheartened because it's like, wow, you work so hard and you have what it takes to go to graduate school. Like, in their eyes, why are you going to take a step down, right?
Right.
But they understood my convictions and my reasoning, and so they just kind of were like, all right. And so in massage school, we had to do what they call an externship.
Okay.
And the majority of my cohort went to spas and maybe chiropractic settings.
Sure.
But I was leaning towards looking into the, like, I guess we'd say like Eastern medicine. And coincidentally, Leiter's clinic in Anaheim is 10 minutes from where I grew up. And so I just I decided to go there one day, and I initially called in, and it was an old Yellow Pages listing, and so the phone number didn't work.
Leiter, come on, you gotta get this stuff up to date.
Yeah, it wasn't on him. It was weird, and so it rang for like 10 minutes, and then I was like, that's weird, and I did like an internet search, and then I found another number, complete dead number, and I was like, that's weird. His phone number does work, I promise. It does work. But I showed up, and Leiter was in session, and he steps out. I'm like, hey, I want to volunteer here, and his face lit up, and he's like,
okay, come over here.
And then he goes, oh, you're lucky. We have like an outreach day next Tuesday. I want you to show up to that. And
How weird.
So I showed up on that next Tuesday, and I got to hear the testimonies from like not only the investors but a lot of his previous clients. And it was a really nice and affirming sort of day, and so ever since then, that was back in mid 2021. I've been with Leiter in various capacities and as a therapist.
There you go. All right. So Leiter, what did you think when this young guy walked in the door? Did you think, oh, he doesn't get it, or did you think, oh my goodness, finally somebody gets it?
Yeah, and when he walked in and he looking for the internship for the therapist. So I welcomed him, but I told him you need to spend a lot of time to learning the traditional Chinese medicine. Then basically the 12 meridian and the something, if the blockage, so something will happen. And so it's a lot of to learning, lots of knowledge to learning. So he is commitment to learning. And he studied very hard every week. Every week he remember 1 meridian.
1 meridian a week. There you go. And how many meridians are there again? You keep telling me.
12 meridians.
12 meridians. Sorry, so 12 weeks. All right. Yeah. When I met, I'm Leiter, and I came in very skeptically. We've told my story a million times. I'm not sure if I believe this, but I'm going to try this because I've got some chronic conditions and nobody else can solve these things. And he put his finger right on it. In fact, literally, and said, "How about I bet it hurts here?" Ow! Yeah, behind my leg or knee. I never touched myself there. That tells him, he's on to something here. And he has this, we'll talk about it a little bit and later, this scientific approach to identifying these things, not the traditional approach of looking at your tongue or, trying to read some of the signs in your face and stuff, or just listening to you. Where does it hurt? And we'll start there. So all of that intrigued me, and I've been a patient ever since. And I can tell you, I'm not sure why it works. I'm not sure how it works, but it certainly does work. I call it the magic wand here. But having said that, you opened my eyes, Lee, when I met you shortly after you started. And you said, I asked you, I kind of took you aside and said, is this real? Is this real? Does this really work? Mm-hmm. And you said, well, when I studied kinesthesiology, is that the correct way to say it?
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology.
Yeah.
Okay. When I studied kinesiology, movement of the body, and when I've studied other things to do with other chiropractic or acupuncture, other sorts of things, there's a lot of common principles here.
Yeah.
Whether it's, now I guess in massage you're looking for pinched nerves or pinched blood vessels or pinched muscles or something. You're trying to relax the muscles, relieve the tension, release the whatever is pinching there, the blood, the nerve, the something. So there's an immediate search for what is, we'll say blocked in Chinese thing, but what is tangled,
we
knotted.
call the meridian energy balancing system.
Right.
The meridian energy pathway connection with the internal organ, like a liver, kidney, spleen, heart, with the outside,
and that's what's
the hand
different
and the
from
legs.
when you're doing your massage, Dr. Chen. It's not just to relieve the tension in the knots that you find. That's part of it. But by relieving that tension, opening up that blockage, you then, in the Chinese philosophy, believe that there's energy that can flow through these meridians to your various organs, and the body can kind of heal itself or help itself, right?
Yeah, restore balance.
So what do you think of that, Lee? When he said, all right, we're not just trying to knead out the sore spots. We're not just trying to get things moving again. We're trying to open these pathways so that the energy can flow and the body can do what it's supposed to do. Did you believe that there's energy flowing through the body, or was that something new to you? Did that a struggle to accept that?
Yeah. So I'd already been exposed to the information a bit, and so I was partial to it. I was totally open to it, and honestly, I thought I was gonna go in and see Leiter, and I was going to meet some mystical man that was going to teach me how to do things.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay.
This is like kung fu.
Yeah, exactly. I thought.
A long man with a white beard. He's going to take you up in a mountaintop and show you the secrets.
Yeah, and so I was anticipating some real subtle art to have to develop the ability to feel chi and all this stuff, and
right.
Instead I met Leiter, and he's like, no, I made a tool, and I was like,
a scientific tool.
I was like, well, I guess this will make things a lot easier, right? And it did, and so I was already partial to this idea that there's, I guess the easiest way for me to conceptualize it is there's other layers of being, and yeah, I was strictly anatomical before I came in and saw Leiter, right? I'm used to therapeutic massage. I understand the muscles of the body. I have a relatively decent grasp of fascia and things like that.
Right.
But instead it was just like, hey, we're going to follow these lines. And I was like, all right, well, we'll go for it. And after he did my scan, I was like, yeah, there's definitely something here, because it's really
creepy how they can find these things, really. So let's hold up the magic wand here, as I call it here. This simple little sensor. Dr. Chen had years of sensor technology prior to this. That's just a little sensor. And you put one on your hand?
Yeah, so you put this over your left hand. This just sits here. It's not emitting any electricity. And then with the actual scanner head here, we scan 6 points on, basically it's the hands and feet. Mm-hmm. And we do that on both sides of the body. We think of these as
pressure points, and to Americans or whatever, we're familiar with pressure points between your head and like at your wrist and stuff here for nausea or something. So you've got all these different, your hands and your feet, and you touch these things. And then that wand, that little sensor is connected to a computer program. That was the real secret, is to take those sensor readings and make sense of them, to tell to translate that into something tangible that you can then say, this meridian is the one that's blocked, is connected to your heart, to your liver, whatever, one of these 14 meridians or 12 meridians, whatever there are. And that then is the magic secret, because you can identify these blockages in your energy system quickly. And I can tell you're onto something, because literally you hone in on some point and you say, I'll bet it hurts here.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, ow.
Yeah.
That is a knot. That is something tied up there. There's something sore there. That can't be good.
Yeah, the other reason, outside of just people, because so it's like the scanner, it takes the mystical and it makes it easily digestible, and it's really straightforward, especially for the Western mind to grasp.
Yes, exactly.
And even saying that, I've now worked with probably over 60 different Chinese therapists born and raised in China, immigrated here, and a lot of them aren't even familiar with Chinese medicine. So it's, in a lot of ways, it's a bit of a dying art. And
Yeah, right.
and
Been around for 1,000 years
Yeah.
and whatnot, but because it's been supplanted by Western technology, Western machinery.
Yep.
Even Dr. Chen, you said when you first diagnosed yourself, we talked this story a million times, but when you were in China working in sensor technologies at universities and stuff, you developed, what was it, diabetes?
Diabetes type 2, back to 1996.
And you didn't run to your local Chinese, you're in China. You didn't go to your local Chinese practitioner. You went to,
At that time, I don't believe it, the traditional Chinese medicine.
yeah, right. So it took you, that own experience of not getting an answer, just too many pills and too many things that didn't work, just covered it up. And then you started diving into traditional medicine, started seeing some benefit, and you said, but there's got to be a way to scientifically measure this rather than guesswork. That seems to be I won't say guesswork. It's a subtle art to read the body's signs, but that's not something easily taught or maybe quite as practical. So you waste a lot of time. How about this? Try this, do this.
Yep.
And when this kind of zeroes in, I say it's a scientific approach to a traditional healing art.
Yeah.
And so it combines the best of both East and West, as you do. You're an example of, I still can't say it,
kinesiology. Yeah.
kinesiology,
Yeah.
study of movement, how body moves. This is, what physical trainers use, what physical therapists use to get the maximum performance out of your body. And you've developed additional interest in massage to release, to relieve, to find these tension points, these knots, these blockages, and let that go. And now, if you follow this prescribed path, you're opening some pathways for energy. If you believe there's energy flowing through your body, and all Chinese people and Japanese people and Indian people, this has been the basis of their healthcare system forever. It's hard to measure. I know Western medicine says, I don't see it. Where is it? But Dr. Chen's found a way to measure. It can't be very strong, Dr. Chen. It must be very minute. And how do you, it must have taken you a while to figure out how to find it.
Yes, we spent about 14 years to develop. I studied in the Zhejiang University, the remote sensing, and after graduation, I started my own software company in 1991 in Tianjin. So I have the background of remote sensing and the software developed.
And then once you found this energy measurement, there's something registering here. Now you got to figure out what it's telling you, right? What is that?
In 2003, I immigrated to the United States as an extraordinary expert, and
Is that how they let you in? Is that what was, you had a special category?
Software.
Yeah,
software,
okay.
Yeah, expert. Yeah.
So you came in and you kept doing this. There must have been a lot of doubters. There must have been a lot of people that said, why are you wasting your time trying to measure this? Either follow the traditional Chinese approach. We believe it's there. Here's how we identify it from outside looking at you. Why do we need this extra sensor? And you're saying what? Because it's faster, better,
And accurate.
accurate.
Accurate. And also, the most important significant thing is we can empower the massage therapist to do extraordinary work.
Yeah.
That seems to be the opportunity here. If you're looking at it from an investment standpoint, it's not just healing people, particularly people with chronic conditions for which there is no answer. There is no healing to diabetes and other things. You change your diet. You try and they use pills to lower your cholesterol or lower your blood pressure and other things like that. But ultimately, this philosophy is that the body has an energy system that, if it's in balance, can help certainly with that problem, maybe correct it. Cure is a hard word to say because there's no scientific proof of any of this stuff, but there's a heck of a lot of people that come through your clinic and have for years saying, I've tried everything, nothing works. This is the only thing that gives me some relief or some benefit here. So having said that, is the opportunity then to empower traditional massage therapists with a better understanding, another understanding of what's happening in the body, and now it doesn't just feel good, it might do good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Without even let me take a step back here. The sensor is amazing, and it's irreplaceable in my opinion, but even the underlying understanding of Chinese medicine, even starting to try to add that to your repertoire, especially as someone who, a massage therapist is in a unique position because, we're doing therapeutic work like a physical therapist and a couple other professionals do, but B, the bigger thing is we're spending at least an hour, if not more, with people.
Yeah.
And these people are undressing and they're allowing themselves to be vulnerable and intimate, right?
Yes, right.
And
in a good way, in both sense. I mean,
yeah.
They're opening themselves up to try something.
Yeah, and so when you familiarize yourself with Chinese medicine, you're able to ask questions in I don't want to use the term probe, but you're able to basically kind of bypass a lot of the rapport building because even in other settings that I still work at or in my own private business, it invariably I end up having conversations that loom around people's emotional states and other chronic ailments and stuff.
Right.
And these are intimately tied in with the meridian. So I'll give you the most common example.
Okay.
Most times in massage, people start face down, right?
Right.
And a lot of people, right in between the middle of their shoulder blades, they have a huge knot.
Yes.
And when that's,
oh boy, do I know that one.
And so when that's present,
that tension in your upper shoulders there. Right?
Yeah. And so when that's present, I'll just ask them, I'll be like, how was your sleep? And 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, my sleep is awful. Or even if they go, oh, my sleep's okay, I'll be like, do you have nightmares or unpleasant dreams? And it's a yes. And why is that the case? We'd say, oh, that's because the heart shoe point, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's huge. But the scanner and the Tomii system, outside of its intrinsic value, just doing it's like a fast track to learning Chinese medicine, and you basically get to develop skills that, unless you were going to acupuncturist school, and even then, I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that even a lot of them in modern acupuncturist schools, they struggle with qi, like actually finding qi and pulse diagnosing.
Where is it? Right.
And that is the entire cornerstone of the art. And so, and even with DOs and other stuff, it used to be about cranial sacral holds and stuff like that. And
we're talking about doctor of
osteopathy. And even there, I know some people who are being DOs right now. They just finished their school, they're in residency, stuff like that. They don't even do those types of holds anymore. And that's what the profession was founded on.
Yes,
and
right.
And instead, we're in a unique position to where you could have just been a regular massage therapist and you're able to use a tool or, train in the Tomii system and that sort of thing. It
gives you an insight of what's happening in the body, and you can do more than just relieve some pain or tension.
Yeah, people will come to me now because the value of addressing and asking questions that are pertinent to the individual is amazing. It's people want to talk about themselves to a certain degree, but B, people want to solve their problems. People want to live better lives. They want to feel better. And
they don't want to just live longer. They want to live better.
Yeah.
And when I've gone to a couple times, I said I was so hesitant, but a couple times somebody bought me a massage. One of the big clinics, nice places. There's all these massage envy kind of places out there that have taken this and legitimized it for mom and pop America here. And so I went to some of those places, and they're up front, and it feels good. But all they really do is say, where does it hurt? And then otherwise they're just kind of giving you a tradition, the same regiment they give everybody. Let's start here at your shoulders, let's go down, and then maybe they can feel and find something by accident, or you tell them, I'm having trouble in my legs or my back or whatever. This cuts to the chase. This gets you right in there.
Yeah, this definitely hones in, and it's even with the same person, session to session can vary, right? So a lot of people, we see them for 12 sessions until their problem is essentially resolved. And
Right.
so from session 1, it's like, look, you could have 3 or 4 huge things out of balance, right? We're going to pick the biggest ones and whittle away at it. And then by that last session, we basically could be playing maintenance. And then even within that gamut of sessions, there could have been a day where something transpired in their personal life, and that shows up within the scan. And so,
because tension and stress, all that stuff throws you right out of balance. Like a chiropractor would say, you're out of kilter, you're standing strange. An osteopath would say, they'd look at your stance. A Chinese traditional practitioner would say, you're out of balance. Your energy isn't flowing right here.
yeah.
Well, I think it's about time. I think it's happening already, because there are places like here on campus at UCI, the new Integrative Medicine Center that they've Susan Samueli founded, Samueli of the Broadcom family, the Broadcom founders. There's one we had an interview before with Dr. Kiki Wee, who teaches medicine at UCLA and then runs this integrative center. And the idea is integrating East and West. Let's not say one or the other. Let's bring the best of both together. That seems to be what Dr. Chen's done here. He's taken a scientific approach to traditional art, made it accessible for everyday people and everyday practitioners like you.
No, absolutely.
Well, anything else you'd want to say? Go ahead, Dr. Chen.
The Plaza is approved for the provider by NCBT-MB as the teacher for the Tomei Wellness, traditional Chinese medicine and acupressure.
There you go. He can teach others how to do this.
Yeah, continue education program for the AMTA massage therapist.
So if you're in, who would this appeal to? Let's not talk about patients. Let's talk about practitioners. If you are a massage therapist, certainly one, or a physical trainer, or an occupational trainer, or maybe even a personal trainer, or a sports trainer, all of this might give you an added tool, an added benefit, an added understanding of what's going on inside your client there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This knowledge base will help differentiate you from the rest of your colleagues. There's just no way around it. A lot of massage therapists, at least in California, they're not compelled to do continuing education. So you're right. They default to doing the same sequence, just pressing where it hurts.
Right.
And then there are the driven individuals who start to seek more. They learn different modalities and stuff, but essentially the vast majority of all those modalities are relegated to just, let's say, the anatomical body, physiological processes.
Right.
And instead, this is taking a completely different approach, and it's a legitimately holistic approach. And having those conversations with your clients is not only going to make them more comfortable, but it's, in my opinion, it's going to make you a far better therapist, because you can deal with one problem from 3 different angles.
Yeah. Well, I am just amazed at what I've uncovered, and the more I dig into this, the depth to it, you got an ancient tradition, it's been around for a long time. There must be something to it. It's survived this long, and even though it's outside of our traditional Western approach, we know that there's been an integration between East and West. Acupuncture has found its way into hospitals and other things. Why not? It's the same basic idea, but acupressure seems to make so much more sense, because one, it's non-invasive, and two, even if nothing else, you're relieving that tension, that stress, those knots. That feels good. I don't know. When I've done acupuncture a couple times, I didn't feel immediately any different, but you certainly feel good just from the massage aspect of it. And then if I have the understanding correct, then you're relieving these blockages and the energy starts flowing and good things can happen. Well, I hope good things continue to happen for you. You continue. I know you've worked on opening some other Tomii clinics and some other places that have brought this in, med spas and traditional Chinese practitioners who want to get more to the root of the problem quicker, and whole realm of different people looking at this system. I think it's amazing. I think it's an opportunity, and I think you just happened to stumble into it that day here.
Yes, we are going to develop a franchise business next few years, training.
Right now, you're licensing it to people.
More than 15,000 acupressure therapists to provide a local service to help millions of American people achieve measurable and sustainable health
And
results.
who knows where it goes? Maybe it goes into hotel day spas. Maybe it goes into massage clinics, and maybe it just goes into traditional practitioners and gives them another tool. There's a lot of opportunity, and there's an audience for it, because Western medicine is fantastic if you break a leg or you need to replace your lung, but it's lousy when it comes to, I have headaches that won't go away, I got pain that I can't get rid of, I can't sleep, I got nausea, I got upset stomach, I got fibromyalgia, I got diabetes, I got cholesterol, I got all this stuff. They give you some pill to relieve the symptom, but it doesn't address the underlying problem. That's my experience, and I think that's the experience of people coming in the door here. So if you have a chronic condition, you've tried everything else, why not try this? How do they reach you, Dr. Chen?
714-998-0128, TOMII.US.
And you're in Anaheim Hills area?
Yeah, right now we have a clinic in the Anaheim, California, but we have expanded to Northern California, San Mateo, Morgan Hill, and also Houston, Texas, and several others.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, lots look for one coming near you, and maybe someday it'll be led by these two gentlemen as this turns into just a small, you've created the seed. We'll see how it grows and spreads here now. I think there's an opportunity for it. Thanks for coming in today here.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Another fascinating look at some alternative healing systems out there. If you've got chronic conditions, persistent problems, might be worth taking a look at some of these ideas. Some of them are very tested and been around forever. Some have been modified with new scientific approaches like the Tomii Healing and Wellness System.